Hello, my name is Ulrike. I teach people how to connect with their horse. I teach riding, I teach horse dancing, which is a form of groundwork. I teach personal development with horses on several subjects around Europe. Today, I want to introduce my concept of riding with consciousness. And I want to tell you a story about a rider and a horse and how they solved the problem of the horse being scared and jumpy and would just jump to the side out of nothing. And the rider wanted to find out why it did that and how she could handle this situation. So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit of this approach and how it is different to the classical riding. In this view, a very important element in the riding is the rider. In the classical riding, we learn about the seat, we learn about aids that we have to give, we learn about something that we need to do. But if you look at horses, the first thing that you realize about horses is that they're herd animals. And that the most important thing for them is the connection with the horse because that gives them safety. That allows them to survive. Being with the horse, with the herd allows them to live in security. So what the horse seeks in a rider is the herd member. It seeks the other herd member because it seeks security. And it cannot answer to your aids if there is no herd member, because if there's no connection with the herd member, the horse basically will feel insecure. So what we need to do as a rider is to become a horse or to have the consciousness, to have the emotional flow, to have the physical awareness of a horse. And the consciousness and the physical awareness of a horse is that it is in present time. That it has an awareness of present time that we humans hardly have. But this awareness of present time allows the horse to be ready for flight if there's danger. So it's really not something philosophical that horses have come up with. It's a survival behavior. So one big challenge for the rider is to really be present on the horse and not to be somewhere else with his thoughts, problems that he has at work or with relationships or something. No, the rider has to be in this moment with this horse. And this awareness of present time is not an idea. It's a physical presence. So the rider really has to be present in his or her body. The rider has to have an awareness of the energetic condition of his body, of the energy of his body, not an idea, not a concept, not a posture, but an awareness of the energy. And that includes emotion, the feeling. What does he feel on the horse? Is he afraid? Does he have fear? Is he joyful? Does he maybe not have access to his emotions? All of this is very important for a horse because a horse can only connect if there's a rider that is aware of who he is, of his emotions, of his consciousness, of his physical condition, of his energy, and of his mental conditions, of his beliefs, because beliefs, like the belief I will never figure this out with my horse, is an energy. It's an energy that the horse feels. So really, riding is a big challenge for the human. It's a path of personal development. The personal development is really the demand that riding puts on us. It's not a luxury. It's the basic thing that we need. And I want to give you an example that you can understand what this looks like in practice. At one of my riding workshops, there was a woman, a very experienced rider, a horse breeder. She had been riding all her life. She kept horses. She really knew horses. And she had this new Lusitano gelding. He was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. Very beautiful horse. Wonderful. Young, wise. Actually, when you look closer at this horse, the horse had no problem. The horse looked very good. It was aware. You could see she had raised him herself. You could see she had really taken good care of him. And the problem with this horse was, or the problem that she told me was, I can't feel safe on this horse because out of nothing, he makes a jump to the side and it's really threatening. And it happens over and over, and I can't figure out why, because there's no obvious reason. There's no tractor driving by, there's no dog barking, there's nothing obvious that I could connect with this behavior, that he makes these little jumps. So I started working with her on her presence. I asked her questions. How do you feel? What are you noticing? What are you becoming aware of in yourself, in the horse? How is the energy? All of that. So I tried to bring her into an awareness of present time. And what I could see was that she had a way to ride. Like many riders, she had a technique. She was communicating with this horse through a technique, a good technique with a lot of experience. She was experienced. You could see that it was a technique. How was subtle. It was fine. It was good, but it was a technique. And the technique prevented the connection. Because she was focused on the technique, on her hands, on her posture, she could not at the same time feel herself and feel the horse. So when I started to ask her those questions and really focus on her present time awareness, on emotions, on energy, and all of that, she let go of the technique, and I could see and she could feel that the horse started to relax, that it was walking more in a flow, that his movements were easier, more open, and it dropped its neck and it was becoming calmer. The horse, to her awareness, the horse could become aware of itself. So this was already good progress. This was already a path, and what became obvious was that this horse was really responsive and that there was really not much in the way between those two. Okay, the situation developed, and again I asked her, how is your presence? And her answer was, well, I really get what you mean. I really get where you're taking me to. And because I have this awareness now, I can tell you that it's improving, but I don't really get there. There's still something between me and the horse, and I know this. I've experienced this with this horse, and this is what makes me so sad and desperate, that I can't get through to this horse. There seems to be always one last thing between me and the horse, one blockage. And the moment she said it, the horse made this jump. It made this jump to the side. And it was so interesting. It was a jump that was not really dangerous. It did not threaten her. It was like the horse knew how far it could jump so she could still stay in the saddle. Now that the horse had jumped, I asked her again, do you feel presence now? And she said, yes, now I feel presence. No, I'm totally presence in my body, in the saddle, everything. And I said, well, that's why the horse is doing that. The horse is making these jumps to bring you into the presence, because that's where the horse needs you to be in order to find the connection that it needs with you. And she looked at me and she said, wow, yes, you're right. You're right. Because now I can feel the horse. And now I can feel myself, and I can feel that I'm really there. I'm really there. And I can feel that now that I'm really there, I can feel the horse, and I can feel the connection that you're talking about all the time. I can feel the connection. And she kept walking with this horse. And I could see, and she could feel how the horse totally relaxed. And how the horse became a different horse. And how something very beautiful emerged. Because you could see that this horse, this big, beautiful, proud Lusitano gelding, was a real gentleman. He was a real gentleman. He was only waiting to serve her. He was only waiting to show his compassion, his connection, his sensitivity, his awareness. He would answer to the smallest move she made. And she could experience that it did not need all this technique. She could just leave it. What it needed was something much more subtle. Small movements, small energetic shifts, thoughts. Just the thought of slowing down or going faster or starting to trot, it was enough for this horse, because this horse was so open, it was so sensitive, it was so connected. It so much enjoyed the connection with her. It was so ready to do anything for her, but not in submission, not in submission. The horse did it because it gave the horse so much joy. Because the horse could show its real personality. Because through this connection with the rider, the horse could become itself. And that is something that we can give to horses in the riding. That through the connection with us, with a human, through our awareness, the horse can become aware of itself. It can experience itself in a new way. And that for a horse is a wonderful, wonderful experience. If the horse can make this experience in safety, and safety in this case means in connection with the rider, in connection with another being. And I really want to invite you to try this with your horse. To let go all those expectations. You don't have to do it well the first time. Just try out. Just try to feel yourself when you're sitting on a horse. Just feel yourself. Just ask yourself, how do I feel in this moment? What are my emotions? How does my body feel? Where am I relaxed? Where do I have tension? What is really going on? And what can I feel about my horse? How does my horse feel? How does it move? How is its energy? And where do we come together? Where do we connect? And And where can I feel this connection, this flow back and forth, this question and answer, this dialogue between me and my horse? Try, make an experience, and I'm very sure you will find something beautiful. This is what I wish you from the depth of my heart.